What we're in now is the aftermath of the Mueller report and really the aftermath of the whole Russia collusion hoax. Okay, we now pretty much know the story. Obama knew about Russian interference in our election from 2014 on. He did nothing about it. He never warned the president, never warned Trump. It was not going to be a thing. He made speeches about how they couldn't really mess with our elections because we were too dispersed in our election process. So don't listen to Donald Trump when he starts complaining about it. Then suddenly it became a problem. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton, we know, was paying Christopher Steele to go out and get a dossier, much of which seems to have come from Russian intelligence. She wanted to use that as opera research. When she failed, she then passed it on to the intelligence community, who used it to spy on Donald Trump even before he won the campaign. They were spying on him, and afterwards, it got worse and worse. Today, the great McGurn, Bill McGurn, who writes a column every Tuesday in the Wall Street Journal, he talks about the kinds of things that were going on, and he says there's a letter to William Barr, the Attorney General, from 2 Republican senators, asking them to investigate text messages from our old friends, the lovers, FBI lovers, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, in which they discussed the possibility of sending a counterintelligence officer to Mike Pence's first transition briefing as vice president-elect. The senators wanted to know whether this was an FBI attempt to infiltrate his office. So think about this. This is the kinds of things they were talking about, spying on Donald Trump. And, the thing is, remember, this doesn't happen at the rank and file FBI level. It happens at the top, at Obama's kind of top tier of the Justice Department and the FBI. And it doesn't have to be a conspiracy exactly when you realize the way they see it. You got to look at it from their point of view. The way the state now thinks is they think they are running things. Unappointed people are running the country without the help of Congress, without the help of the president. They're just kind of celebrities who go out and sort of represent the deep state that is running things. This is the way they really think, and it's the way Congress thinks. Congress has essentially handed over its lawmaking, legislating capability to these agencies and these departments and these regulatory agencies. And when they saw Donald Trump coming down like a bowling ball, they panicked and they said, we've got to stop this happening. Remember, all the while thinking that it's a good thing for these wonderful, patriotic civil servants to be running the country while you go off and vote your little votes for a Republican or Democrat. Doesn't really matter. Democrats are a little better because they're in favor of a big state. Republicans are worse, so we'll call them racist and all this. But it doesn't really matter because they're all on board. The Congress is on board. They're all on board with this deep state. And Donald Trump is just too ignorant, too stupid to know what it is that, this wonderful deep state is doing. He wants people to have their own lives, to do their own thing. And he's just aggressive enough, uncaring enough, insensitive enough to not even care when they call him racist. He doesn't even care when they call him racist. And when they twist his words and all this stuff, he's just going ahead and doing his thing. So they really, really, really dislike this guy. So now they've got a problem. What do? This whole plan has now been exposed as a hoax. And there's a danger when the Inspector General, for instance, investigates this, or when Bill Barr, who said there's been spying going on, and the president, I'm going to find out how that happened. There's a danger that these people might actually be called to account, that we may see James Comey take a perp walk, John Brennan take a perp walk, Clapper take a perp walk. We may see that. It may actually happen. I kind of doubt it, but it might, and there might be at least enough investigation to expose what happened. But the problem they've got now is, what do? They've got to somehow make the Mueller report, which completely exonerates Trump, into a damning document. And then what do they do with that? Do they impeach? Here's Donald Trump's attitude toward impeachment.
I mean, whatever you do, Brother Fox, whatever you do, please, Brother Fox, please don't fling me in that briar patch.
Briar patch? Briar patch.
If you don't remember the story from Uncle Remus, great story. The Brer Rabbit says to the fox, don't throw me into the briar patch, because he knows once he's in the briar patch, he can escape and the fox can't get him. Trump is now basically saying, I'm not going to give you anything. I'm not sending my guys in to testify. I'm telling them to ignore subpoenas. He's goading them to impeach him because he thinks he can win that battle, and he's probably right. So what's going on now is the Democrat Party is in a bind, right? They know that if they get it wrong, and they go into impeachment. The old hands like Nancy Pelosi know this is going to be a problem. The young guns, they want to move forward. Let's just take a look, though. I mean, what's so amazing about this is not about just the deep state. It's about the elites, right? So it's about the press. The press is defending the powers that be. The protesters in colleges are defending the powers that be. The rebel uprising is here. This is the rebel uprising. This is the counterculture. This is the place where we're standing up for individual freedom. It's the only place. Take a look at the way the press treated impeachment when it was Clinton up to be impeached. This is from our friends at Newsbusters.
The founding fathers must be turning in their graves that a president of the United States is vulnerable to impeachment for this.
Is perjury in a case like this serious enough to warrant impeaching the president?
If the Republicans want to go ahead and do this, I think they disgrace themselves in a more profound way than President Clinton has by abusing the machinery of impeachment.
Is it worth overturning the will of the people in order to impeach him if the only thing you can prove is that he lied?
Is there not some concern of the public perception that this is in fact a kind of effort at a quote coup?
Ophelia Arellano says it reminds her of a coup in her native Guatemala.
We like him. He's doing a good job.
The Republican Party, who dislike him and what he stands for, having been unable to beat him at the polls, have found another way to get him out of office.
America wants Christmas carols uninterrupted by political scandal.
They have robbed from you, make no mistake about it. They have used a procedural device to steal from you your right to be democratically represented.
Quote, you don't overturn the results of an American election on a whim.
Is Dan Rather the most oleaginous hypocrite who ever stood in front of a camera? I don't know, but he's got to be up there on the list. That was Dan Rather, all of them recommending impeachment. Now, again, from Newsbusters, take a look at the way they're treating the subject of impeachment now.
Why haven't you opened an impeachment inquiry? Or, in fairness, is that what you're doing right now?
Impeach, now or never.
Congress is going to now have to act responsibly.
But the avenue for that is impeachment.
Will he get away with it?
What is the Democratic House waiting for?
The question is, will you let him get away with it?
If you don't do it, then don't you undermine all the resources put into putting the report together in the first place?
I think the Democrats will be smart to impeach him.
I wish that, as David proposes, Democrats would just get their act together and push impeachment.
If the politics suck and it's the right thing to do the Democrats have the backbone to say what you just said?
If Mueller, though, has left a trail, as some believe, how does the House not follow that?
So if you read the second volume closely, I think it is essentially an open invitation to begin impeachment proceedings.
I think it's their constitutional duty now to, at the very least, begin impeachment proceedings.
It would be the most unsatisfying thing of all, I think, to just say, well, it is what it is, and we'll settle it at the polls next November.
So you have a legal case that you believe this happens and you should do it, but the politics dictate something else. How much is that going to influence this decision?
If the conduct described in the Mueller report doesn't deserve that strongest rebuke, then what does?
It's amazing logic. The amazing logic, 2 years, a year and a half at least, of this investigation into Russian collusion comes back with no, there was no Russian collusion. Even the things that were detailed in the Mueller report, these kind of minor banging into people. I told you I banged into that girl who was just sent away as a Russian spy. I think she got 18 months. I bumped into her at one of these conservative things, and she came up to me in a string bikini, and I thought, and asked me advice about gun rights. And I thought any girl that age coming up to a guy my age in a string bikini and asking me about gun rights, probably a Russian spy. And I just ignored the whole thing. But still, that's the kind of thing that they detailed in the Mueller report. A year and a half, and not a little touch of curiosity about how this thing got started. Was any malfeasance on the part of the deep state? No, because the deep state is the point. So now Donald Trump, who's just goading them, just come on, don't throw me into the impeachment batch, Jerry Nadler, don't throw me into the impeachment batch. He's basically saying, don't show up. So A.G. Barr was summoned to go before the House, the Senate and the House, and he says he's going before the Senate. But the House committee run by Jerry Nadler said, we're not going to just let people question you for 5 minutes because then you can run out the clock. Instead, we're going to let our counsel from both sides question for 30 minutes. And Barr said, well, wait, no, I agreed to be in front of the House, not counsel, so I'll only come if I'm talking to House members. So here's Nadler getting tough about this.
He is not going to dictate the format of the Judiciary Committee. What we have proposed, what we're planning to do, is that after the members finish questioning for 5 minutes, the Democratic counsel will have half an hour to question, and the Republican counsel will have half an hour to question. And that's a standard method of doing things. Sometimes it's used, sometimes it's not. It's, in my judgment, an effective way of doing things. And the witness is not going to tell the committee how to conduct its hearing, period.